The world is full of many marvellous and strange things. Some have already been pointed out to be fakes and others just defy logic. In this video, I will be counting down the top 18 mysterious photos and videos that have stood the test of time. And without further ado, sit back, relax and enjoy. The Gable Film. The Gable Film is a film that was made in the 1970s, some point around that time, and it was meant to be documenting the events of the Michigan Dogman, or the Bray Road Beast as it's currently known. In the film, you can see a family and a dog all enjoying their trip through the woods until eventually the cameraman stumbles across a creature in the woods and the creature charges at him. And at the very end of the film, you can even get a glimpse of the creature's teeth. Now, in time, most people speculated that this was the real deal, but it wasn't until an episode of Monster Quest corrected it, and it turned out the movie was actually filmed in the present day of the 2000s, and it was all staged, and the creature turned out to be a guy in a ghillie suit. The Hillbilly Beast. In some regions of Kentucky, there's been this creature known as the Hillbilly Beast, a Bigfoot-like creature that has been stalking the forests. Now, in the 2000s, there was a photo that apparently captures the creature, and the photo was even featured on an episode of Monster Quest. It featured a tall, dark figure standing in the tree bushes, but in time, the skeptics analysed the photo and the others, and it turned out to be a bird flying by. Megalodon in the Mariana Trench. Now, this one's a strange one because we don't fully know whether this is an unusually large sleeper shark or whether it's an actual true megalodon. They estimate that the cage underneath the creature measures 10 feet long and the creature's 50 feet in length. And they say that it was apparently filmed some point in the Mariana Trench, but the actual recording of this took place in the Suruga Bay, somewhere near Japan. Now, even though the proportions of the creatures were given out, we don't know whether it was fully correct, and to this day they still don't know whether this is a megalodon or an oversized sleeper shark. But even if it was a sleeper shark, it was probably the biggest and longest of its kind to ever be recorded in the oceans. What do you think? The Metapec alien. In 2007, a rancher heard a strange noise coming from his shed. He opened up and found this strange-looking creature caught in a rat trap. And the creature was unusual in appearance. It had massive eyes, a human-looking face, and a very extraterrestrial-looking body. Apparently, the creature was still alive while these photos were taken, and it was trying to chew its way out of the thing. Luckily, the people drenched it in gasoline, not in gasoline, but in a acid to preserve the body. And skeptics are still trying to figure out what the creature is, and some even point out that it could be a monkey suffering from mange. Yet I don't think that this is correct as well. Yet even to this day, this is still considered one of the best pieces of evidence for extraterrestrial life. Elisa Lam. In 2013, a young student named Elisa Lam went to Canada into the Cecil Hotel. Mysteriously, a few days later, people and the staff of the hotel realised that their water was turning black substance and it tasted dead funny. Eventually, the hotel staff made their way up to the water tanks where they eventually found Lisa's body. The people didn't know how she got up there or who let her up there, but they also checked the CCTV cameras and found this. This very chilling footage claims to show Lisa in the elevators, and she appears to be hiding from someone or something. But people also noticed that she was also smiling as if she was playing a game. People speculate that Lisa was playing the Korean elevator game, and people also noticed that she was pressing numerous buttons, and according to the game, this is how ghosts are summoned. Bigfoot caught looking through window. In 2015, a Russian farmer found that some of his fruit was being missing, so he eventually put up a camera inside his house to see what was going on. He hoped that he'd catch a bear doing it, but instead he caught this. A gigantic hairy creature looking through his window. There's not much information on this video, but you can find it on YouTube or any of these channels. The Men in Black of Niagara Falls. The Men in Black are often associated with UFO sightings. They are described as being tall with completely white skin, black suits, black tie. They have big, massive eyes and absolutely no hair on their face. In 2009, a people working in the hotel seen a UFO in the shape of a triangle. And then the next day, the following day I should say, so two men dressed in black suits came in visiting the hotel, and the security guard ended up catching it on the camera, as you can see with the photo right here. The hotel staff came forward and said that the Men in Black threatened them into finding this person who saw the UFO yesterday. Unfortunately, the Men in Black couldn't find them, and so they left. But the people said that they described them as being like very tall with big blue eyes, and they didn't blink once. Werewolf caught walking through a Brazilian street. This video was taken in an unknown town or city in Brazil, and it claimed to show a bipedal creature walking on all two legs. Apparently this wasn't just a still image, this was actually part of a videotape where it just actually shows the creature walking through, but this is just a still image of that video. And unfortunately the people didn't release it to the public, so that makes me question that the video is fake, because you know something's fake when they don't show the actual full video, so it's obvious that it's staged. Werewolf in back garden. This is yet another video that was taken in Brazil, and this time the creature was walking on four legs. The person named Pingu he's noticed that a lot of stuff around his garden being smashed up in the early hours of the night. So he set up a camera to see what was happening, and he instead caught this thing. The Charlie Chaplin Time Traveller. This isn't just a photo or a video, this was part of an actual film from the 1920s. And it claims to show this person walking through the time with what most people describe as being a phone. But skeptics say that the person could have been holding something like a walkie-talkie, but it's very unlikely that the person was carrying a walkie-talkie, because this film came out in 1928 or somewhere around that time, and walkie-talkies weren't invented until 1937. Most people strongly believe that the lady was carrying a old person's horn so she could hear clearly. But if that's were to be the case, then how does it explain the movements, the hand gestures, and the fact that her lips are moving just like how a regular person would use a phone? What do you guys think? The Chilean cave alien. There's not much information on this video, and it's very obscure, as I've been typing it up and researching it online, and I could not find anything that resembled this. But I remember watching this video on a YouTuber called Slapped Ham, who provided the full videos on one of his... this footage was taken in one of the caves in Chile, and it's a remote region where humans don't usually follow, and one visitor to the caves managed to capture the sight of these creatures hiding in the caves, and they appear to be not just aliens, given the limited information about these creatures, let alone the video, it's unclear whether all this was staged. And even though Slapped Ham provided the full video, I still can't find the video, or let alone any pictures on the internet. But this is the Chilean cave alien, and I would love to find the real video one day. The sewer rake. For those of you who are not familiar with the rake, it's this mythological creature that has been popping up very recently in the mid-2000s. The first recorded sighting of the rake happened in 2006, where it was in like the USA of some sort, and this very famous photo that I'm showing you right now was taken around that time, and that's when it boomed in popularity. But on the other side of the world, in the city of Liverpool, there was the sewage systems, and they were conducting the search of seeing what's down in the sewers. And in the recordings, they managed to pick up this creature on the video with these big, massive, shiny eyes glaring at the camera. And when the camera moves towards it, the creature bolts back into the darkness. Smile Dog JPEG is one of the most infamous ones on this list. This photo dates all the way back to 1992, at the very beginning of the internet. It all began when an anonymous person interviewed a woman who apparently had this creature on the floppy disk, and she said that the thing was driving her mad, and eventually she committed suicide because the creature would not leave her visions. Eventually, other people managed to get affected by this phenomenon of this dog-like creature on a floppy disk, and the person who had the floppy disk also managed to destroy it. But the picture has now been found all over the internet, and the one you're seeing right now is apparently the closest to the original floppy disk video. Now, there has also been several recreations of the photo, but this, according to the skeptics, say that this is the closest to the original video, and I'll leave that to the viewers, the people who are watching my video right now. I'll let you decide on your opinion on this photo. This one is one that I have not seen before, but it was recently covered by a YouTuber called Roki, who apparently was scrolling on 4chan one day when he was like very little, and he managed to find the photo like years later, and the photo ended up gaining 2 million views on his first review of the photo. And this was the photo that he was on about: a tall white wolf figure holding onto a crying baby. The photo was titled frankieandthewolf.jpg and was apparently uploaded to one of those websites from back in the 2000s, before YouTube was even a thing. And before the photo was shared on YouTube, you could not really find the photo. Like, if you type up frankieandthewolf.jpg, you would not be able to find many images of it on Google. And most people, it turned out the photo was photoshopped in a way. And according to Ruki, on the time when he found out the website where the photo came from, he also found numerous other photos, and apparently these photos were part of a Photoshop competition. The Martinez Dog Demon. Paddy's husband Joe was battling a severe drug addiction that he said was soul-destroying, and Paddy stood by her husband despite his conditioning, hoping that he would get clean one day. And by the time he had his in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary, they took a photo, and years later he looked back on the old photos and noticed a mysterious dog-like face leering behind his left shoulder, especially as there was no pets at the party or creatures of any kind. No one recalled seeing anything that remotely resembled it, and the couple truly believed that it was a demon. The photo also baffled experts as well, as they couldn't really find anything that suggested that the photo was tampered with or edited in any way. But nonetheless, the photo shocked Joe so bad, including his wife, and it jolted him into tackling his drug addiction, and he now carries the photo in his pocket as a reminder to stay clean. Body of a pig. This is one but many of one of the oldest videos on YouTube. This video has been around since 2007, and it shows the group of hunters going into this cave or castle that they believe is haunted. And in the cave, they find this entrance with a big red door, and they open it and see if there's anything in. And then they recorded this EVP where it says, "I am the body of a pig." For those of you who don't know what an EVP is, it's basically a website on where you can actually hear ghosts talking. After the EVP was recorded, the two men proceeded to open up the thing and look inside it much further. One took out a camera and started taking photos, and this was apparently the photo they'd taken. The photo apparently shows a very demonic ghost-like creature, and they believe that this is where the EVP was emanating from. However, most skeptics say that where they paused it on the part where the guy snapped the photo, that they couldn't really see the creature standing there. But it is a very blurry image, and the creator responded by saying that we weren't getting the same perspective as the camera that took the photo. It's also worth noting that if you take the part where the EVP says "I have the body of a pig" and put it on Audacity or any other sounding website and then speed it up, it sounds like a regular voice with the same British accent as the people who are making the video. So what do you guys think? Is this a real ghost or is it just a prank? Let me know in the comments. Bigfoot's true strength. This is probably the newest video on this list. It's only been around since 2024 or 2023, somewhere around that time. And it appears to show this dark figure standing in the bushes until it starts breaking up the trees, and then suddenly it picks up this very massive log and proper smashes it against the logs and everything. Some people were calling it a fake while others were saying it was the real deal. But me personally, I think it's real because there's no human on Earth that has that type of strength. If my estimates are correct, then the log would have probably been about like 14 foot long and 12 inches wide. But even if this was a guy in a suit, then he's probably one of the strongest humans on Earth. But what do you guys think? Is this a guy in a suit or is this a real Bigfoot? Let me know down in the comments. Now, before I get to number one, I have this honourable mention where apparently shows a river monster somewhere in Asia. I couldn't put it on the list because of how blurry the video was, and I couldn't really find a single video that matched it. That was clear, if you know what I mean. But and there wasn't a lot of information about it, so that's why I didn't put it on. But I have found a sea monster video that is much better and much more interesting than this. So let's get to number one. A monster in Loch Foyle. In 2013, a group of people were out filming for a college film somewhere in Loch Foyle in Northern Ireland until a creature apparently interrupts their film and they start videoing the creature. They filmed their film as well, but the creature that they filmed got way more views than their student project, and the whole video just shows this creature, crashing through the water with its head bobbed up, and the guys are confused as what it is. People think it could be a turtle, and others think it could be a whale, yet there's no turtle that lives in these regions of Northern Ireland, and it's unnatural speed. The absolute speed of the creature feels unnatural for any creature that lives there, let alone the ones that we know in general. Others think that it could be a submarine with a thing that attached to it, but whether it's a submarine, a fake, or anything else, the thing has not been found or seen since 2013. That is it for this video. I am Star Invader, and I'll see you all in the next video.